Coach, good morning.
Morning.
Um, Going into week one of any season, not specifically with this team, but any season, what is the level of uncertainty about how good of a defense you have, and what are the things you're particularly interested in finding out about this week? Where do you think you'll really find out the most?
Well, I would say, yeah, going into any season, I think that's pretty accurate. You work your way through training camp. You try to do as many things, as you can to get players ready. But like I've said earlier, the defense will evolve over time. And, we're going to try to put them in position to make plays. And obviously it's going to come down to execution and fundamentals. It's really an unprecedented experience this year because there's no game action before we go out there. So, our focus has really been on fundamentals, and I think, over time, like the chemistry, the camaraderie, the fundamentals, the play, all of it will improve. Like we don't look to be playing our best football in September. I mean, week to week, we're looking for improvement. So I think that, that there's going to be a little bit of, we'll see. And, but, our focus is on getting ready to go this week and go up there and get a win. That's what our focus is. There's definitely some unknown going into it.
Cam?
Hey, Josh, how you doing, man?
Good.
We were made aware, I guess, of the DB point system game that was going on in the DB room. I wanted to see if you could update us on the winner of that, if you knew what was going on there.
Well, our thing is defensively, we preach about fundamentals. We preach about, takeaways, turnovers, and we work pretty hard on that. And really for, all the coaches, whatever way they can motivate the players to get better out of them, I'm all for. As far as, how those things work and all that stuff, I don't really pay attention to it. I just kind of really look at the results on the field, and I know our guys are working hard towards those things. So I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Adam Beasley?
Josh, I wanted to ask you a question about Chan. Did you really know him too much before the hire, and how's it been like matching wits with him in practice?
Personally, I did not know him. But obviously with his history at with the Jets and the Bills, going against him for, a good chunk of years, was familiar with, how he uses players. And, I've always kind of respected him from afar, and, getting to meet him in person is really been awesome. And it's, we've had some really good conversations about football, and he's a great football coach, and more importantly, he's a really good man. So he's really been a good guy for me to be around. It's been a great experience that way, and that's kind of been our relationship.
Omar?
Now that I have the right Josh for this question, I made the mistake of asking a question to Josh, the receiver coach, that was designed for you. The pressure that you're going to be able to put on quarterbacks. I know a lot of it is scheme driven, but do you feel like you have defensive ends, pass rushers that can disengage from tackle one-on-one and get after the quarterback?
Well, again, I think pressure, it comes in a variety of forms. Some of it will be individual effort. Some of it will be, team-oriented, scheme-oriented. But we'll take it any way we can get it. Obviously, ultimately, I think all defenses are trying to put pressure on the quarterback. I think they're trying to put pressure on the offensive line. I think, sometimes you can do that, by disguises, alignments, and sometimes you can do it by matchups. So, and again, we're working pretty hard to put our guys in a position to succeed. So, and again, we're excited about Sunday, and, we're looking forward to it, and, and we'll kind of see what the results are there.
Josh?
Hey, Josh. Flo informed us of the defensive or all the captains, but on defense, what do you think it says about the impact that two specifically with Landon and Kyle that they've made, on their teammates in the short amount of time that they've been here to not just be voted on that, but to be looked on, you know, highly on, with the defense.
Well, I would say with all three of our guys, Bobby, Kyle, and Landon, I think those are all three great candidates, which obviously you mentioned the players voted for those guys. I think, all of our players, all of our coaches, need to exhibit leadership, on a daily basis. I think these guys have kind of stood out in some of those roles. And, again, everything has kind of been, they came in and the guys that were here, it was a welcoming event for them when they're coming in, and for the guys that were here. I would say, there's a lot of conversations between our players. They worked hard in the spring when we weren't able to see them. These guys, they reached out to many players on our defense and tried to develop relationships that way. And I think ultimately it's going to help us as a football team. And it says a lot about those three guys in particular, but there's many others. I mean, you can go Godchow, Eric Rowe. There's a lot of guys that, took it upon themselves to reach out to guys when, everybody's kind of quarantined off with the pandemic and they're trying to build those relationships. So.
Safid?
Coach, good morning. Thanks for doing this with us.
Morning.
How do you think Cam Newton is going to look in Josh McDaniels' offense?
Well, I will say this. Cam Newton's an extremely talented player. Obviously we've seen that for over, a decade in the NFL. He's very talented. He's got a big arm. He can make all the throws. He can run if he needs to run. And I would say Josh McDaniels, for you call it almost 2 decades, okay, he's been a solid play caller in this league. So, I know this. I know that Cam's a good player, and I know Josh is a good coach. So I'm sure there will be a good marriage there. Like New England will do, is that they're gonna try to get the best out of their players and put them in position to succeed. And Josh has shown the ability to do that, year after year. So I think it will probably be a good marriage and be smooth for them. And we'll just have to see what it is. So, there's no film on it. There's no tape on it. And again, it's going to have to go back for us. We need to focus on our fundamentals and what we're trying to do. Okay. But we know we're facing a really good quarterback and a really good coordinator.
All right, we have time for 2 more. We're going to go to Hal.
Hi, Josh. When we spoke to Chan a few minutes ago, he had mentioned that he's going to be working games from upstairs. I'm guessing you're going to be downstairs, but I'd like you to confirm that. And also, in terms of getting ready to call plays, what have you done to prepare yourself? Or are there drills that you've done? Or how are you getting ready to actually call plays in such a short amount of time?
Well, I'll be down on the field. I would say I probably have got as good as, school as anybody, because for, I don't know, the past, whether it was Matt Patricia or Flo, I was basically up in the box and, I was kind of going through the games with them as games were going on. I would say from getting ready to call plays in a game, like you sit and you watch a lot of film and you go through, okay, there's a lot of things that you can manipulate the film to just give you, okay, down and distance, personnel. You can create games, which we've obviously done. I've sat through there. There's guys on our defensive staff that have put those together. And, you go through it and call that way with, what you think, New England's going to do this week and stuff. And, it's not all right. It's not all wrong, but, it's just a way to prepare. And, and all the guys that I've been around over the years, I know they've done that, and that's just how we kind of prepare. You'll go on film, you'll make the calls, and then you'll be like, okay, well, this is something they could do in this situation. But again, like I said, they have a new quarterback. There could be a lot of unknowns out there, but we'll be prepared and ready to go and make sure that we're fundamentally sound on stuff. And like I said earlier, when I was talking with you guys, there's not going to be a lot of surprises in the calls that are coming out there. Our players are going to know what's getting called in certain situations, and give them the ability to go out there and play fast. And again, it's going to go down to fundamentals, getting off blocks and tackling, good eye discipline and coverage. All those things are going to show up huge, I would say, like, the first month of the season.
All right, final question, Joe Shad.
Hey, Josh, good to see you. You mentioned how, things might not be, sort of perfect in the first game. We like perfection, but I'm wondering how much patience you might have for what I think we'll see, which is maybe a few extra missed tackles.
Well, again, and again, I think this is why you try to put your team together with mentally and physically tough people. The mental aspect of it is defensively, we're going to face some adversity this year. There's a lot of, good players in the league. There's a lot of good coaches. They're going to make plays too. And the key is how do you handle that when those things happen? And, and we try to simulate in practice. We try to put our players in situations that are tough for them. And, we try to set them up with every drill possible, but they're, until you get out in the game situation and those things happen, but you got to move on to the next play. If it's good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. You got to move on to the next play until the clock says 0. Because we've all seen strange things happen in games. You always got a chance, and you could have a lead or you could be behind, and it could go either way. So, we've all seen that, so I don't think you don't hit the panic button. Things are going to happen. You try to address it, and you go to the next play. And that's kind of the approach that we take with our players, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. If you get a sack on second down, okay, that's great. You go out there on third down and you have a mental error. That's not a very good set of downs for you. So, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. You just you move on to the next play. And we kind of train our guys that way, and our guys are kind of built that way. So that's kind of how we approach that.